So why did you want to concentrate or feel a need to concentrate on the female structure, the female design?
Mm-hmm. Well, fashion design's not that easy. It's in terms of the construction of it, it's it's architectural around the body. It's hard enough to get every element of it right. Never mind the fact that you're supposed to create a new thing every season, or that it keeps on changing, and it has to be current and feel like the now. And so it's just, that's why I focused on women's wear. When I first studied, I did some apprenticeships in menswear to learn the techniques, but I'm kind of staying with what I know right now and trying to make it better.
And I suppose there's a greater pressure on women's fashion, perhaps, to change each season, and it's just
as a woman
ending.
as well. Yeah, as a woman as well, I understand. I guess I can put the clothes on myself and feel how they feel, and see if I can live in them. So there's an emotional connection for me as well.
Yeah, and I mean, everything of what you do is creating your own business. Just as I'm in the music business, and that is the business I'm in, and I have to take care of that. You're in the fashion business, and I mean, do the two go well with you? Because sometimes you can get creative people who are not necessarily business oriented, which is why a team is so important to have around you. But have you been very stalwart and strong in that department and focused?
I guess the two have informed each other. When I was working for other designers, of course, I was just being a designer. But as soon as I started my own business, I quickly realized that everything influences that next thing. So, so now the challenge grew, because now it's about thinking of it through every different kind of eye. And if it's a very successful design, it will be successful in a business sense as much as it would be in a creative sense, as much as it would be in a spiritual sense, to be fulfilling for my life and for what I want to do as well. So it's just a bigger challenge.
It is a huge challenge, and I suppose a lot of the time that is spent on dealing with the business aspect, can sometimes take away that creative element, for one reason or another.
Yeah, I think business people are, any industry, the people who are good at that thing are very creative usually. So a successful business person is creative, as is a successful artist, or in anything. A successful accountant is probably very creative, So, so I think it's all linked.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you were born and brought up in Vancouver, which is, an extraordinary city. It's one of my favorite cities, for sure.
Oh, have you been?
Oh, I've been actually many times to Vancouver, mainly with the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra as a soloist with them. And it's just a fantastic place. The people are just so warm, and I've just always had a really, really nice time there.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Oh, it is a nice place, and it's so dramatic. And do you feel that, those early years that you spent there, has that had an influence on your creations at all, or the type of people who live there, which is very mixed?
Of course, I mean, I was born there and I grew up there, so it's very much part of who I am. I've now been in England longer than I was ever in Vancouver. So I have a British passport as well. But I mean, I miss, I grew up in a place at the time. Vancouver was much more, for me growing up, it was about nature. It was about, going hiking, with my school. It's all around you in Vancouver. There's much less man-made beauty and much more kind of majestic natural beauty. So
absolutely,
I think nature's a great teacher about about symmetry and about, a lot of tenets of design are influenced by nature. So I think that's part of who I am.
Yeah. And I think,
and of course, Canadians are so kind and wonderful. I'm lucky to be from such a wonderful country, as you say.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you look at many of your designs, because I always feel it allows the person who is wearing them a chance to breathe in them, so the clothes isn't wearing the person kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
They both carry each other. And I think that's what I find so interesting with the likes of Vancouver is a city. You have the extraordinary mountains there, you have the snow mountains there, but it doesn't take away from the extraordinary city, and vice versa. There's room for everything to breathe, and everything has its place. And that's what I feel about your designs.
That's a wonderful thing to say. Thank you. I've actually never thought about it that way, but Vancouver it's the sea and the mountains and the rainforest, and there's a casualness there that compared to Europe or the big cities of the world, and that's what makes me feel at ease in a way. So I don't want to be uncomfortable when I wear clothes, and and I wouldn't I think women are at their best when they're comfortable in their clothes. So it's something I think about. It's a fine balance.
I
think.
And I mean,
to design well, and then to let the woman breathe and show herself. Yeah.
And it's interesting because, of course, being a musician myself, we're dealing with many different types of musical genres, and we're seeing a real situation where a lot of traditional music is fading away, actually. And I often wonder with fashion, we have such incredible traditional dress, from all territories of the world. Is that something that you tap into, or you're influenced by, or you think about, or
Yes, of course, very much so. Well, the fashion or the making of clothing is a handicraft. So, and no matter how futuristic we have become, clothes still need to be, well, there are laser cutters and things, but we still cut all our clothes by hand. It's a person that's doing it. And then, since it's a human being making it, they make mistakes as well. And then we have to fix it, and then we have to redo it. And, and every stitch is done by hand. And that to me is a beautiful part of what I do. So it's something that's why I produce everything here in the UK, because I just like to be there with that. It's part of the process for me. It's part of the joy of doing this. I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon, because I don't think they're too complex of a product to be made entirely by machines without human beings.
Yes.